ಓಪನ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಸರ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋ.
It's a Zoom.
Video is not opening.
It's a Zoom.
Yeah,
There is a thing for video. Click on that.
come here. Can you start the video?
What is this? Your
That's what.
your microphone is unmuted. Your video is stopped.
Video is.
Safe. What is the safe driving mode? Are you on Zoom or what are you on? There should be other people saying.
Okay, but where is my video? They can't see me.
These are all the people there. Yeah. That is recording, camera recording. Here.
Yeah, hello.
But this is you.
We are hearing you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now, let me see.
When they hear you, that's more important.
If I can get onto the computer, then I can show you my PowerPoint.
Just close the computer and talk. Get it.
Yeah. Hello.
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
Okay, what we'll do is we will start with my phone Zoom.
Okay.
And PowerPoint I will just use as required on my. I will see for myself and I will use. Basically,
Okay.
I can speak without the PowerPoint.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಓಕೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಫ್ರೈಡೆ ಫೋರಂ ಚರ್ಚೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ವಿಷಯ ನಾವು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಬಹಳ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಇರಾನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಸ್ರೇಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಮೆರಿಕ ಜಂಟಿ ಫೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 21ನೇ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ದಿನದಿಂದ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಉಲ್ಬಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ವಾರ್ ನೌ, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್. ಸೊ ಈ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ರವಿ ಜೋಶಿ ಅವರು ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಫ್ರೈಡೆ ಫೋರಂ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 5 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ರವಿ ಜೋಶಿ ಅವರು ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿಯೇಟ್, ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿಯೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಆಗಿ ನಿವೃತ್ತರಾದವರು ಮತ್ತು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ವಿಂಗ್ ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಡಿಪ್ಲೊಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ಯುದ್ಧದ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಭಾವ, ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲಿ, ಅದು ಈಗ ಅಡುಗೆ ಮನೆಗೂ ಬಂದು ಕೂತಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ. ಸೊ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಸಿಲಿಂಡರ್ ಶಾರ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಶಾರ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸಮಗ್ರ ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಷಯ ಮಂಡನೆಗಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಹ್ವಾನಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ರವಿ ಜೋಶಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಟು Ravi Joshi to deliberate. Okay, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I will try to speak in English and I'll mix a little bit of Kannada. I'm sure that your audience is familiar.
Okay, sir. No problem.
So, yeah, they can ask me questions in Kannada. I will try to reply in Kannada and English. Okay, now, all of you are familiar with what is going on in West Asia. See, this war was started on February 28th with President Trump announcing that he is carrying out preemptive strikes on Iran in order to carry out regime change. That was the first objective with which he started the war. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, explained to his Congress that he articulated the war objectives bit more clearly by saying that our war objective includes decapitating the military power of Iran, its navy, its air force, and its ballistic missile capabilities. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೂರು ಅಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಮೊದಲು ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಇವರು ಟ್ರಂಪ್, ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಆಂಬಿಕ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಆಂಬಿಷಿಯಸ್ objective, which is very difficult to carry out and to clearly define and say that we have done this, we have achieved our objective after a week or 2 weeks. Because our actually, when he announced this regime change as objective, on 1st March itself, the very next day, Iran carried out missile attacks on the headquarters of the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And he was killed along with his wife, his daughter, and daughter-in-law. That is Mustafa Khamenei's wife. Mustafa Khamenei, the son of Ali Khamenei, was also in the same building, and he was injured. He was hurt in his hand and arm and also leg, but he survived the attack. He is alive, and he is presently been elected as the Ayatollah in place of his father. Now, Iran ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಮೊದಲು ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಔಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ objectives that Israel and America have tried to achieve. In the last, today we are already on the 21st day of the war. So initially, Trump thought and Trump declared that it will be a short war. Okay, he almost said within a week we will be out. We are already winning the war massively, and we have decapitated the Iranian nuclear capabilities, its conventional war capabilities, its navy, its air force, and the missile capabilities. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿ, so then it almost looked as if America had achieved its objectives and America was going to withdraw, or America was going to exit from the scene. But that has not happened, and it did not happen so far. Now, Iran has been continuing to carry out missile attacks on various targets, which include the allies of US in the region, that is, all the Gulf countries, particularly the Gulf kingdoms, which are Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and even Oman, which was a friendly country to Iran. In fact, Oman was the mediator between the two negotiating teams, where the negotiations were going on just 2 or 3 days before the war. And America and Iranian delegations had met in Muscat, Oman, as well as in Geneva, for nearly 3 rounds of talks to sort out its Iranian nuclear program and also its missile program. And significant progress was reported not only by the Iranian foreign minister, but also by the Omani foreign minister. And the attack carried out by Trump on 28th February came as a big shock to the Omani foreign minister, who was a negotiator. So, ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ Iran was carrying out or planning to carry out attacks on us, so we are carrying out preemptive attacks ಅಂತ ಏನು ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, that sounds absolutely meaningless and it sounds baseless. And this argument has now been quoted by the counterintelligence chief of America, John Kent, who has resigned on this very ground, saying that there was absolutely no information with the American intelligence that Iran was planning to carry out attacks on American interests or American assets in the region. So there has been, now we can see that some kind of a pushback is coming out in the open within the intelligence community of American administration. So, leaving aside that, how has the war progressed so far? So far, we can see that Israel and America have significantly crippled the Iranian military capabilities. Alarmingly, Israel suddenly started attacking the Iranian oil facilities, which was against the interests of America, and Trump severely disagreed with Israel on this count. He said that we were not supposed to attack the Iranian oil reserves and Iranian oil wells. So he took objection to Netanyahu's attacks. But you must remember here, in fact, this is where I want to clarify that though Israel and America have jointly started this war campaign on Iran, their objectives are different. In fact, their mission objectives vary significantly. While Trump simply said that I want to do regime change, Israel has said Israel is basically interested in complete destruction of Iran. Not only its military capabilities, but also destroying its energy reserves and to cripple Iran economically so that it doesn't recover quickly or maybe in the next 5 years. So because these war objectives of the two partners differ significantly, we will never know as to when the war will end. Because US might say, I have achieved my objectives and US might walk out. But Israel will continue to carry out attacks. So Iran has to be ready for a long war, and Iran looks prepared for a long war. And this war is not likely to end within the next week or 10 days. Though I do not rule out the possibility of Trump getting tired of this war, because the costs are increasing, not only for Trump, but also for the world economy in general, particularly on the energy front. Uh, Now, let me finish the war aspect. How much it has gone so far, how and where it is leading right now. Now, firstly, 1 minute. I will like to make a comparative study between the two major enemies, Israel and Iran. West Asian regionally, Israel is probably the smallest country in the region, which has a landmass of only about 216,000 square kilometers, whereas Iran has a landmass of 1.6 million square kilometers. Um, yeah, or is it 16 million square kilometers, something like that. What I'm trying to say is basically Iran is 75 times bigger than Israel. And Israeli population is only 10.2 million, while Iranian population is about 93 million people. Though there is a huge gap or contrast between the size and the landmass of the two countries which are at war, the economic size of Israel is very significant. The economic power of Israel, like for instance, the GDP is about $651 billion, whereas that of Iran is only about $315 billion. Why this disparity? Why Iran is so poor? Because of the sanctions imposed by US on Iran for the last 2 or 3 decades. Actually, for the last 3 decades or more. In fact, 1979 ನಲ್ಲಿ Iran revolution ಆಯಿತು. Ayatollah Khamenei came to power. ಆವಾಗಲೇ in the same year, 1979, 70, 80, the Iranian students attacked American embassy in Tehran and held it hostage for nearly 1.5 years. They held all the American diplomats as hostages for 1.5 years. That is the beginning of the hostility in the relationship between Iran and America. It goes back to 1979-80. So you can imagine now it is nearly 60 years, 65 years. So we are in a situation, but serious sanctions were put on Iran only for the last 40 years or so, which inhibited its economic growth, particularly sale of its energy resources. And we were one of the victims who suffered the sanctions regime imposed by America on us because Iran was prohibited from trading in dollars, in getting payments in dollars for sale of its oil. And at the peak of Indian economy in 2016, 2017, only, we were importing about 13 million tons of tons of oil every year, and we were paying Iran about $13 billion. So roughly about about $100 a barrel. Daga, it became $13 billion. So for a very long time, and when I was in service, I have personally negotiated with the Iranian team as to how to make payment in currencies other than dollar because of sanctions. And till from 2009 to 2013, I was involved with the negotiations with the Iranian deputy NSA, and they have come 3, 4 times to Delhi, and we have gone at least 3 times to Tehran for carrying out these negotiations. So, what I'm trying to say is that Iran has been a traditional friend and trading partner of India for the last 50, 60 years. And our relations with Iran have been excellent. And especially in around 2010 only, President Rafsanjani of Iran had come to Delhi. Amaga, he offered to India the Chabahar port as an important naval base to be built by India and to provide connectivity for us to Afghanistan. And you must remember that this became a very important, very crucial point of connectivity for us when Taliban came to power, and Pakistan was practically controlling the Taliban in Afghanistan, and we were denied all access to Afghanistan. And it became more important when Taliban was thrown out of power and Karzai came to power. When Karzai came to power, he built up strong relations with New Delhi, and he wanted some serious kind of substantial help in terms of millions of tons of wheat, and also in terms of medicines, in terms of building schools and hospitals, and we built the parliament of Afghanistan, we built the president's house of Afghanistan. We have done substantial work in Afghanistan during Karzai's time. But ನಮಗೆ connectivity ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. Connectivity Pakistan continuously denied us. Even I remember when we wanted to send a container load of biscuits to the Afghan children, Pakistan refused to send it through the Wagah border into Afghanistan. So we were desperately looking for a route to approach Afghanistan by avoiding Karachi port. And so, and the Chabahar port given to us by Iran was a great boon, a gift. So now, during Manmohan Singh's last 2 years, the government of India decided to commit about $120 million and build 2 ports in Chabahar for facilitating Indian ships to go there. And Iran offered us the warehouse facilities, dry port facilities, just outside the port, and also to use their road connectivity to go to Afghanistan. Now, we had also planned to build a railway line, but that was given up because when I was in service, the railway ministry came up and said that it will cost us $1 billion. They calculated that per kilometer the cost will be about $1 million, and it is not economically viable. So that railway line idea was given up. But Iran had already built excellent road connectivity from Chabahar to Afghanistan border, and we started using that. But this was only a very short while. Soon after that, when the Karzai government fell and Taliban came back to power in Afghanistan, all that connectivity was lost, and we no longer have that connectivity. And recent reports indicate that America has bombed Chabahar port because there is an IRGC facility, training facility or some such thing. And so our entire $120 million seems to have gone down the drain. We have lost Chabahar port. Now, Ali, coming back to the West Asian region, we must remember that America has enormous number of bases, military base, naval base, and air base. The airbase is the biggest airbase is in Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which is the largest American airbase. Then Bahrain has got the Isa Air Base. Kuwait has got the Ali Al Salim Air Base, and UAE Emirati regime has got the Al Dhafra Air Base, and Saudi Arabia has got Prince Sultan Air Base. So only about six, about 6 air bases are already there. Then the naval bases are in Oman, Egypt, Djibouti, Syria, Iraq, in all these places. So the biggest naval base is in the headquarters of the Fifth Fleet. The American Fifth Fleet is in Bahrain, and so all now most of these air bases are under attack by Iran, by Iranian missiles and drones. Now, while attacking these air bases, some of the missiles have fallen short of the target and have also fallen in the host countries, like in Kuwait, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Qatar also, even Oman. So some of the missile attacks from Iran started falling into these countries and have hit civilian targets. In some cases, the Iranian attacks were targeted attacks because the American diplomatic personnel moved away from their embassies and shifted to some five-star hotels in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Ali Kuda Iranians have targeted and have attacked. So while this is going on, and we must remember that by now, within the second week, the Iranian naval capabilities and air capabilities were substantially crippled. But their missile attacks continued, and the missile attacks significantly continued not only on the American ships, but also on American aircraft. About 2 or 3 F-25 aircrafts fell in Kuwait, which of course America later on explained by saying that these were shot in friendly fire. Friendly fire, I think, is just an excuse. They were probably targeted by Iran, and they were shot by Iran. Now, the latest information is that one F-35 has also been targeted by Iran and has been shot down. F-35 is the latest American aircraft, which has got stealth features, and it is capable of carrying conventional weapons as well as nuclear weapons. It's a massive bomber which has got enormous speed and maneuverability. And to hit F-35 is a significant achievement for the Iranian missile capabilities. So these kind of attacks are going on, and the major attacks that America has carried out in Iran are they have killed 3 major figures. After assassinating the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, they have also killed Ali Larijani, who was the most reasonable leader in the entire collegium of leaders in Iran. In fact, I had the good fortune of meeting him once. He was the Speaker of the Parliament. Then he became the Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, which is the highest body of national security. His position is like that of Ajit Doval in our country. He was the advisor to the Supreme Leader. And he was also a key coalition builder in the sense that he represented the moderate elements in the power structure. There is a president, Masoud Pezeshkian, and there is Hajjatul Islam Hojai, who was the chief of judiciary, and there is Ali Larijani, and they had also appointed one Ayatollah Ali Rezai, who was temporarily looking after Ali Khamenei's death, but now Mustafa Khamenei has been elected. The election of Mustafa Khamenei only proves that the IRGC is the most powerful body in the country. The IRGC means the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps. That reports directly to the commander-in-chief, that is Ayatollah. It is emerging more powerful than the army and the navy and the air force in the country because it directly controls not only the domestic, but also the external security of the country. And it has got two wings. One is the Basij, which is the youth wing of IRGC, which controls the local population and the law and order in the country, and it is used against all the kinds of protest marches, and it crushes the protests very brutally. Second is a force called Al-Quds. Al-Quds is a force of the IRGC external wing. That was under the control of General Qasim Soleimani, who was the most powerful general. And this body supports all the proxy forces of Iran. That is Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas in Palestine. These are the proxy forces who have been targeting Hezbollah, and the Hamas has been targeting Israel, while the Houthis have been targeting Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia has been waging a war against the Houthis in Yemen for the last 4 or 5 years without any kind of a resolution. We still don't know who is winning there. It's in a complete mess, and the violence is continuing unabated in southern Yemen and Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia, in spite of its enormous military might, has not been able to crush the Houthis completely, partly because Iranian support, and also because the Houthis are a significant number in the Yemeni politics. Anyway, now coming back to Iran, internal politics of Iran. Now, we must remember that the internal politics of Iran was basically controlled by a theocratic regime, which was very autocratic, very oppressive, and corrupt. There's no doubt about their corruption and their oppression because they suppressed all kinds of human rights of the citizens of Iran and also particularly of the women. You must be aware of the Masa Amin incident, which happened in 2022 or 23, when this Kurdish woman took off her burqa in the capital city Tehran and refused to wear it according to proper rules of wearing the burqa, and the IRGC soldiers brutally crushed her and arrested her and detained her, and she finally died in prison. That led to a massive protest of all the Iranian women who started coming out in the public and taking out their burqa or their hijab. And this was a violent, I mean, this was a absolutely demonstrative protest against the regime. And the regime actually then slid back in position, and they decided not to crush this opposition. And the Ayatollah said, let the women wear the burqa in the way they like. So basically, what the rules say that you cannot show your hair in this proportion, and you should cover your hair fully, which the women refused to cover. And after the protest, they stopped wearing the hijab completely. And this was the first major protest by the women in Iran. And in addition to this protest, there were also popular protests in various parts of the country against inflation, against rising prices, rising unemployment, and rising poverty. So this kind of a popular protest was happening in all the major cities, not only in Tehran, Mashhad, and Isfahan, and also all the various provinces of Iran, Kermanshah and in the Tanj, all these provinces. So this was a widespread protest. Actually, this became very strong during December 2025 and January 2026, when it was brutally crushed. And according to Iranian news media reports, about 2,000 people or 2,500 people were killed. But unofficial estimates indicate that about more than 10 times more than that number were killed. Maybe around 25,000 to 30,000 people were brutally killed in these popular protests. However, President Trump announced that I support the people's protest against the regime, and they should rise, and America will fully support this. That was taken only as a rhetoric by President Trump, which he always makes, and nobody took it seriously. But when the American attack started and the supreme leader was killed, again Trump called upon the people of Iran, now you rise and protest and you take over power and America will fully support it. See, that is a big mistake. I mean, when indigenous people's movements are rising against their oppressive regime, if a foreign power comes and says, we will protest you, we will protect you, or we will support you, that goes against the people's protest. The entire people's protest gets labeled as anti-national or as supporting Americans, which is not true. And it became very difficult for the protesters to continue their protest because then IRGC said that anybody now protesting against the regime will be declared as anti-national and will be hanged or executed. So it gave unnecessary power to the IRGC to suppress this movement much more violently. And today we have a situation when the popular protests are gone, the IRGC is in a weakened position, the leadership is eliminated. So there is a kind of a chaotic situation at the helm of affairs in Iran, but the architecture of power remains the same. This is what I want to emphasize. You see, when President Trump says we have changed the regime, he is not talking correctly. He's talking nonsense because the regime still remains very much the same. The because the architecture of power is so decentralized, right up to province and district level, that at every level there are representatives of the Ayatollah and there are representatives of the IRGC who are controlling the districts. So, with that kind of a decentralized power distribution, it is very difficult for every district or every city or every province to rise against the leadership in Tehran. But I'm sure they are all waiting for a right moment for the situation to ease out, for the war to end, and then when the dust of war has settled in Iran, probably there will be serious power struggles internal. So I will briefly touch upon that. The internal power struggle will emerge between the moderates and the extremists in Iran. There have always been very powerful moderate groups in Iran. Right from the time of President Hashmi Rafsanjani, who was regarded as a moderate, there has been a strong group of moderates who are not completely subservient to the Ayatollahs or the mullahs in power. And you must remember that the constitution of Iran provides for a guardian council of about 12 members and an assembly of experts, which is 88 members, which is like the parliament. And the assembly of experts and the guardian council both elect the Ayatollah or the supreme leader. Basically, what happens is the guardian council of 12 members decides on the Ayatollah, and that is normally approved by the assembly of experts. The guardian council nalli, so all these members are there: the president, the secretary of the National Supreme SNSC, the National Security Council, and the judiciary chief, the speaker of the parliament. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ guardian council ನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ and IRGC generals ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So only IRGC generals have become far more powerful than anybody in the Iranian regime because of two things. One is that the American sanctions have benefited the IRGC to do enormous amount of smuggling. They have been doing smuggling for the last 20 years of all kinds of goods, whether it is medicines or whether it is iPhones or whether it is films, whatever the people want, it's available. They get it from Dubai or they get it from Turkey. These are the points. If it comes from Dubai, it has to come by boats. If it comes from Turkey, it has to come from land route. And both these, the shipping routes and the land route are controlled by the IRGC. And he who controls the checkpoints at the border, he makes money. And this money has been so much that everything that is available to the people is given at 3 times the normal price. For instance, if an iPhone is available for $100 in Dubai, it is sold in Tehran for about $300 to $500. So it is sold at triple the market price. And this kind of black marketing has been going on for the last 20 years, or at least more than that. I've been studying this for the last 20 years. And I know that when I was handling Iran, at that time I had read that reports that Mujtaba Khamenei, who is the son of Ayatollah, who has now become the chief, he was personally, he had amassed about $2 billion. This was in 20, when I was in service in 2012, 2010, our time. So 2010 is 14 years, 12 years, so 14, 15 years. So now his wealth must be about $5 billion, and all his money is stashed away in Dubai banks or in banks in London. So the money power, the corruption of the IRGC and the Ayatollah's family is what is now controlling this country, and uh, and they will remain in power, and they will be as oppressive as has been in the past, and will continue to crush the rights of the people unless the people's movement again rises with or without foreign assistance. And if the war ends maybe in the next 1 week or 10 days, within a few months, I'm sure there will be a lot of instability in Iran. Within the next 3 months, we will see major changes, major political changes, and structural changes within the Iranian regime. This is my guess. Now, coming back to the region, the implications for the region. What is the impact upon the region? ಈಗ regional ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, once Iran is destroyed as a powerful country, who is the single most dominant power in the region? Israel. Israel will be left with no significant power to countervail the force of Israel. As you can see, all the Gulf kingdoms have been either covertly or openly supporting Israel in this war. And about 1 year ago, the so-called Abrahamic Accords were signed, and UAE was the first one to sign this Abrahamic Accord, which was mediated by America, which meant that you would recognize Israel, and establish diplomatic relations with Israel. UAE was the first one to do this. At that time, there was very strong speculation that Saudi Arabia will also do it. But surprisingly, Saudi Arabia held back. And Saudi Arabia has not yet established diplomatic relations with Israel. So, in this situation, and Qatar has been playing a very dubious game. Qatar has always been supporting Americans in that region. Qatar has been supporting America in its negotiations um, with the Syrian leaders in ISIS, or whether it is Egyptian leaders when the Muslim Brotherhood is in power, or with other Gulf countries. So Qatar has always been a suspect country to Saudi Arabia and UAE. We must remember one thing here: there is no such thing as an Islamic world, a homogeneous entity called Islamic. There are so many dividing lines, fault lines. The most important fault line is between the Shias and the Sunnis. The Shia regime is Iranian regime, which is largely Shia. About 80% or 85% of the Iranian population is Shia, whereas there is a small Sunni population, which is in the Sistan Baluchistan province of Pakistan, bordering the Baluchistan of Pakistan. And they also have small minorities of Azeris, Armenians, Jews, and Kurds. The Kurdish population is spread out in all the northern parts of Iran, Iraq, and Syria, bordering Turkey. So, if the Kurds rise, actually, Trump has been asking the Kurds to rise in revolt against the Iranian domination. And interestingly, Masoud Barzani, who is the president of the Kurdish regional autonomous region, has refused Trump's offer, and he said, "We don't want to fight Iranian regime at this juncture. Thank you very much," he has told President Trump. So Kurds have not risen. If the Kurds rise in Iran, they are the largest Kurdish population. It will have a cumulative effect in Iraq and Syria. So all the Kurdish populations, if they rise, it will seriously imbalance Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. It will create an enormous amount of unrest. So that will create a new state in out of all these four countries. So that will lead to another kind of war. Uh, and on this side of the Persian Gulf, there is no unity even within the Arab Sunni groups. The Arab Sunni groups are all the Gulf kingdoms, right from Oman, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and right up to Jordan. Iwella Sunni Arab countries. But Iwella, they're united only against Israel and Iran, more against Iran than against Israel. They have not fought against Israel. Remember that. In this war, they have not come out openly supporting Iran, which is an Islamic country. And they're continuing to give uh, hosting berthing facility to American naval ships and air base. And these American air base and naval base were set up there basically to protect these Gulf kingdoms. But today we are seeing that instead of protecting them, they are protecting and actually aiding and supporting Israel in its war against an Islamic country. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ Islamic Arab Sunni groups have not risen against America. They have only realized the danger of giving such facilities to America because now they have become targets of Iranian missile attacks. So this will lead to another kind of serious rethink after the war, whether they will like to have this kind of American base. American air base, naval base ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೇನು ಲಾಭ ಅಂತ serious rethink ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So they might ask America to vacate the area, but America will not vacate the area. It is too lucrative region and it is too important a critical region for America to protect the energy resource of the world. As all of you know that the Strait of Hormuz is the most important uh, uh, sea route for the passage of energy resources from all the Gulf countries, whether it is Iraqi oil, Kuwaiti oil, Saudi oil, or Qatari gas or Iranian oil, everything has to come through the Strait of Hormuz to the eastern neighbors. The eastern neighbors include Pakistan, India, Japan, South Korea, China. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ Iranian and Saudi Arabian oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. So now the Strait of Hormuz is under attack. And recently, there were also reports that Iran has put mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So it has not only sunk some ships in that region, it has also put mines. So the Strait of Hormuz has now become unusable for the passage of energy resources. And Iran is strictly controlling as to how many ships will go and to which countries they will go. So far, it has been generous in allowing Indian ships to come through that region, through the straits, particularly Indian oil and gas ships, gas containers. And we have got about 3 ships that have come from that region. And it is also allowing China, Japan, and South Korea to take their energy resources through this strait. And also there are reports that it is now taking payments in Chinese yuan, which will seriously affect the dollar economy. Already the dollar economy has been seriously affected by both Iran and Iraq refusing to accept dollars. Iraq President Saddam Hussein clearly refused to accept dollars and he shifted to euro currency. That is one of the reasons why America attacked Iraq and removed Saddam Hussein from power. And Iran had to refuse dollars because of sanctions, and it was disabled from accepting dollars. So it accepted euros, it accepted the Russian rubles and Chinese yuan. And Russia and China have made very large investments in Iran. Russia has made investments in the nuclear field. For instance, it built the first nuclear reactor in Bushehr, and then it built the second nuclear reactor in Natanz, which is a research facility. Then it also helped the building of the Fordo nuclear plant, which was suspected to be carrying out research and enrichment of uranium to produce a nuclear weapon. That is the accusation made by Israel. So Ali, uh, so Ali ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ Iran was enriching uranium up to 66%. Now let me briefly touch upon the Iranian nuclear program. Iranian nuclear program has always been meant for peaceful purposes, as it has announced clearly. And Ayatollah Khamenei had issued a fatwa against producing a nuclear weapon. He always said that nuclear weapon is haram in the Quran. It is not permitted in our religion, and we will not create a nuclear weapon that is meant for mass destruction. Because he said that even killing one human being is haram. And so the question of killing millions of human beings is completely not acceptable to us. So he had prevented Iran from going for production of nuclear weapon. But Iran, also, you must remember one thing, Iran is a signatory to Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. As a signatory to NPT, you cannot produce a nuclear weapon. Okay, that is the first and fundamental rule. Whereas India and Pakistan are not signatories to the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. So we were out of the treaty. And so when we produced a nuclear weapon, when we blasted our nuclear explosions we carried out in April 1998, we were not violating any treaty obligations. But we were violating the international norms which was imposed upon the world by the P5 members of the UN Security Council, who are all nuclear weapon states. The P5 are the permanent five. The permanent five are US, UK, France, Russia, and China. These countries have been dominating the nuclear field, and they have been putting restrictions upon new entrants coming into the nuclear weapon state. Though they have not put any kind of restrictions on Israel nuclear weapon capabilities, and it is widely known that Israel has got a massive stockpile of about 80 to 120 nuclear weapons. And Israel has not signed NPT, Israel is not under nuclear safeguards agreement of the IAEA, all that, which Iran is. Iran, being an NPT signatory, is also a member of the IAEA nuclear safeguards agreement. IAEA means International Atomic Energy Agency, which is in Vienna, and I used to attend the meetings in Vienna of this body, which is a UN body. Only this Iran file was always being discussed and debated, and America and Israel were pointing out fingers at Iran's stealthy operation of enrichment of uranium beyond the permitted limits. And Ali Fordo facility was first exposed by Israel in a meeting in the IAEA. And soon after that, we heard that Fordo facility has been bombed by Israel. So nobody did anything against Israel. You know, Israel has been having this right to go and bomb any country it chooses, whether it is Syria, whether it is Lebanon, whether Lebanon, presently Israel has been carrying bombings. It has already killed about 800 or 1,000 Lebanese citizens, calling them Hezbollahs. So a lot of members are Hezbollah members, but it has also killed civilians. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Israel is one country, a rogue nation, which has been carrying out bombing attacks on all its neighboring countries. And nobody in the world has stopped it or nobody has condemned it. And so many UN resolutions are passed, but it is all vetoed by America. So while Israel is having 80 to 120 nuclear weapons, Israel and America are imposing sanctions and are carrying out attacks on Iran, even if it does not have nuclear weapons. Even if it enriches enrichment of uranium up to 60%, which is the maximum it has already done so far. Supposedly, it has enriched up to 66%. And about 440 kilograms of that enriched uranium is lying in Iranian stock. That is what Netanyahu recently said, that with that kind of an enrichment stock available, Iran is capable of producing a nuclear weapon. But even to produce a nuclear weapon with that much of enrichment, you have to again go back and put it in the reactor and enrich it up to 90%, 95%. ಆವಾಗ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ವೆಪನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಅದು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇರಾನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಇನ್ನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. According to my sources information, I mean, in fact, what I had heard from the KGB chief was that Iran simply does not have the capability to produce a nuclear weapon. So that was about 10, 15 years ago. But today it might have acquired that capability, but it has not demonstrated that capability by producing a nuclear weapon. So, as per the rules of IAEA, Iran is allowed to enrich uranium up to 4%, which is meant to produce electricity. Electricity generate ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು 4% enrich nuclear uranium ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಐಸೋಟೋಪ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ you must enrich the uranium up to 8 to 9%. ಅದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you can use for medical purposes, nuclear isotopes. which you must be familiar. They're all available in most of the cancer treatment hospitals. So ಅದು ಕೂಡ permission ಇದೆ Iranian. So they can enrich uranium up to 8% or 9%. And the best agreement that US had given to Iran was around 2015 when President Obama had signed the JCPOA, what is called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. This was signed by President Obama along with the P5 members of the United Nations Security Council. Otherly, UK, France, Russia, China, plus Germany was also included in that. And all these countries accepted that Iran can enrich uranium up to a limited percentage, below 9%. And Iran had also accepted that we will not go for weapon grade enrichment. And America had said we will lift the sanctions in a phased manner. And President Obama had released the payment of about $440 million, which was stuck in American banks. So that was the progress which had been done by Obama's administration. And as soon as President Trump came to power, he tore up the agreement. He said this agreement is meaningless. This agreement does not talk about the Iranian missile program, which is the major complaint of Israel. So President Trump has always been taking the stand in favor of Israel right from the days of his first term, 2018. Avaglinda, he has been again saying that we will not accept this nuclear agreement. We will have a fresh nuclear agreement. And he actually he permitted talks with Iran in the second term. As soon as he came to power in the second term, he said we will negotiate settlement with Iran, and about 3 to 4 rounds of talks were held in Oman and Geneva. So ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ talks ಆಗೋ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ he ordered the bombing of Iran on February 28th. So now we are back to square one, bombing Iran. And we know the situation as of today, after 21 days. The situation is very grim because Israel carried out attacks on the Iranian oil wells, much against the wishes of Trump. Trump severely criticized Israel for attacking the Iranian oil wells. And Israel also carried out attacks on the South Pars gas field. South Pars gas field of Iran is one of the biggest gas fields on the planet. It is in fact jointly owned by Iran and Qatar. The South Pars gas field, Iran had let out one gas field to India initially. It offered to India, but we did not buy it. We did not have the money, or we did not have the inclination. We lost that opportunity. Then it offered the same gas field to China, and China invested $300 billion in that gas field and was raking out gas from that. And for China, Iranian gas and oil is a very important source of its energy. And right now, it is managing its resources on the basis of its own energy reserves, which it has got, and the recent waiver which Iran has given for Chinese gas containers and oil containers to move to the Strait of Hormuz. So, particularly, let us now come to the impact on India. See, impact on India means we must look at the whole region. Regionally, there are about 9.5 million Indians working as in semi-skilled, skilled laborers, also as professionals in various fields, right from Oman to UAE to Saudi Arabia to Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, in all these countries. Okay, in 4 countries, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and UAE, the Indian population far exceeds the local population. So we are in very large numbers. The Indian diaspora is there in very large numbers in all these Gulf Arab countries. Okay, Iran-ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ Indians ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. They have not gone there to work, but they have gone there to study in the Iranian Shia seminaries. We have about 2,000 Iranian Shia students, Indian Shia students, studying mainly in Qom. Qom is the most important Shia seminary. It is like Kashi or Banaras. As for Hindu religious purposes, it is like that for Shia religion. And Qom also has the most important Ayatollah in the world. He is the Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani. Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani must be now 90 years old. He was always regarded much more highly than Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was the ruler of the country. But his point was that no Ayatollah should enter politics. So he did not enter politics. And he said religion and politics must be kept separate. And he is therefore respected far more widely in Iran and in the Shia world. So the Indian population in Iran is very small compared to what it is in the Arab Sunni countries. Now, these 9.5 million Indians are contributing nearly $135 billion a year in remittance to India. These remittances are very important for Indian economy. They constitute nearly 42% of India's merchandise trade deficit, and they contribute significantly to the economy of Kerala and also to the economy of now UP and Bihar and Maharashtra, from where large number of Muslim workers have gone and have settled there as workers. And you must remember one thing: they can work all their life in that country, but they will not get citizenship. If they are given citizenship, they will far exceed the local population. So they will never get citizenship. So they have to work for a period and they have to come back. So in this meanwhile, they earn enormous amount of money and they contribute to the welfare of their families. So this income is very important for India. Plus, this area is the energy resource for India in terms of oil and gas. As I already mentioned, we used to get oil from Iran, but now we get oil from Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and yeah, these are the major oil suppliers. And we get gas from Qatar. We get nearly 48% of our gas intake from LNG gas and LPG gas. LPG is 65%, LNG is 48% from Qatar. So any upsetting or any disturbance in this region will severely impact upon our gas and oil supplies. As you are already familiar, the gas cylinders prices have gone up, and so many thousands or lakhs of hotels are closing down in India, not only in Bangalore but also in Delhi and Bombay and all this parts. But we are managing still. We have got about 3 ships of oil, and let us see how long it will last. So, but any further continuation of this crisis will severely impact not only India but also Europe. In fact, today I was seeing the press that Europe has announced significant measures to uh, take the cost of the consumers onto the government. The government is reducing the tax on the oil cost borne by the consumers. They have reduced almost 30 to 40% in some countries, and they're giving incentives for people to shift to non-fossil fuel. So this is what the European response is. Meanwhile, it's very interesting to note that none of these allies of America are standing by America today in the war. Trump has been repeatedly asking the NATO allies to come and support in the movement of ships on the Strait of Hormuz. But none of the NATO allies, like France, Britain, Germany, have joined. Even Australia has refused to join and in helping Trump to move the oil and gas ships through the Strait of Hormuz. So their argument is that you went into war without consultations, without talking to NATO partners, and so you take care of the war yourself. And this is putting enormous pressure on Trump. And the longer the war continues, there will be more significant crisis in the energy sector for Europe, America, Australia, and all the countries, and they will not be able to bear the burden, and there will be soon much greater pressure on America to end this war quickly. So how this war will end, when this war will end, probably my guess is it will end within a week or 10 days. And what will happen after the war, that we have to wait and see. So I think I'll stop at this. I will elaborate more if you have any questions. Thank you.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಜೋಶಿ ಸರ್. ಬಹಳ ವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾಗಿ the entire the history of the war as well as the region and also the economic aspects and impact ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾಗಿ ಮಂಡಿಸಿದಿರಿ. We thank you very much for your elaborate presentation. And the question and answer, there is only very less time, some 18 minutes are there. So questions raised ಮಾಡೋರು only one question and let it be brief, let it not be any explanation. ನಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಆರಂಭದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಕತಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇರಾನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅದು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಟುಡೇ NDTV was reporting that it requires 3 to 5 years to get repaired, and it will bring down production of LNG by 17% in the days to come. So that may impact a major supply of LNG to other countries. ಇದೊಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ವೈ ದಿ ಗಲ್ಫ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಟಾಲಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಾನ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ಲೇಡ್ ಇಟ್ because of that Sunni Muslim. Anyway, thank you very much for your presentation, and it's open for discussion. You can answer my question and then proceed. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, the question is, I took note of your comment regarding Qatar. Qatar gas field attack ಮಾಡಿ ಬಹಳ cripple ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು there is no doubt, and it has already hit the Aramco factory, which is the Aramco refinery is one of the largest refineries on the earth, and Ras Tanura sector has been attacked, and it is crippling the oil refinery. So it has also attacked the Ruwais oil field in Abu Dhabi, which is a major oil reserve. It has attacked oil reserves in Bahrain. So and it started doing all that after Israel attacked Iranian oil reserves.
ಜೋಶಿಯವ್ರೆ, ನಂದೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಕಮಲ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಇದು ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದು ಗೂಗಲ್ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇರಾನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇರಾನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಥೌಸಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಿಲ್ಡ್, ಥೌಸಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಮೇಯ್ಮ್ಡ್, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು. 1953 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ನ CIA ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ನಂತರ ಶಾನ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂಥನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಆಗಿದ್ ರೆಬೆಲಿಯನ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಏನೋ ಎಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ವಾರ್ದು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ನಡೆದಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಗೂಗಲ್ ಸೇ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಮೆರಿಕನ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಲ್ಲಿರ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೋಗಿ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇರಾನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಇರಾನ್ ಹಸ್ ನೆವರ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಎ war with any country so far, to the best of my knowledge. Okay. ಮೂರನೇದು, ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಜೋಶಿ ಅವರೇ. I just want to know. I know that Iran offered to trade with India in rupees during that dollar crisis and all. Why did India refuse? ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಬ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, why is India not standing with its true friends like Iran? Because America has used the Middle East as its play field for Jewish lobby, backed by Israel and for its Israel's insecurity. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಈ ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್. ದ ಅದರ್ ಡೇ ತುಳಸಿ ಗಬಾರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ US Senate ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಫೆಂಟನಾಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಚೈನಾ ಅಂತ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಲಿ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿ ಹೈ ಏನೋ ಟ್ಯಾರಿಫ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ಸಲ್ಟ್ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ this is India's stand. How do you you have been an insider, so how do you react to these situations, sir?
Okay, nimdu ಎರಡು question. Okay, one is what was India's position when the payment crisis happened, when Iran was prevented from taking dollars? Avaga I was part of the negotiating team, and we tried all kinds of payment methods. We tried first we were paying in euros. Now ಹೇಳೋದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
Okay, so now we tried to make the payments in euros to a Turkish bank in Germany. There was a bank called Halk Bank, a Turkish bank in Germany. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯೂರೋಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು.
ಸರ್ ಒಂಚೂರು ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಈಗ.
ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ
ಕೇಳಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಸರ್. ಈಗ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಕೇಳ್ತಿದೆ.
ಓಕೆ, now we were making payments in euros, right?
ಜರ್ಮನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್ ಮುಂದೆ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಅಮೆರಿಕನ್ಸ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ದಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಪುಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಆನ್ Germany to stop that payment. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ we started making payment in a bank in Dubai. So that also they found out and they put pressure on Dubai and made Dubai to stop. But then we came up with a solution that we will do 1/3 payment in rupees, 1/3 payment in euros, 1/3 payment to a third country with which Iran is trading. Suppose Iran is buying something from Malaysia, we will pay to Malaysia. So ಈ ತರ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ 1 ವರ್ಷ ಕಾಲ ನಡೀತು. And Iran opened a rupee account in Canara Bank in Bombay, and we started depositing 1/3 in rupees and 1/3 in euros. We kept it in an escrow account of Iran, and we were paying to Malaysia or Indonesia as the case was. But rupee account ನಲ್ಲಿ rupees ಬಹಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಪೈಲ because our import from Iran was to the tune of $12 billion or $30 billion. Our export to Iran was only less than 25-30 billion. We were exporting mainly basmati rice. So ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು, ರುಪೀಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಕ್ಯುಮುಲೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಅವಾಗ ಇರಾನ್ said, now what will I do with so much billions of rupees? I'm not buying anything from India. So that system did not work. So the worst thing, the final thing we came up was we decided to buy gold bar in the market and smuggle it to Iran. So this I'm telling you, this is an inside story which nobody knows. So we told Turkey to buy gold bars in the market in Turkey and smuggle it to Iran. ಇದು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಅಮೆರಿಕ. ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
So Turkey was buying this gold in the open market and smuggling it into Iran through its land border. Suddenly the Americans realized that the gold prices were shooting up in Turkey. Then they found out that this was happening and they put a lid on Turkey to stop this. So we practically tried all kinds of methods and we did not succeed. But I must tell you, this was all during Manmohan Singh government. Okay, this was before 2013. I retired in 2013. So ಅವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. Okay. ಆಮೇಲೆ when Trump government went away, Biden administration ಬಂದಾಗ there was not so much pressure and we started buying oil from Iran even during the first 2 years of Modi government. 2016 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ 2016-17 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ we were buying Iranian oil. But 2019, when 2018 Trump came back to power, and then he put so much pressure on Modi government, 2019 came to zero. Our imports from oil became zero from 2019 onward. So this government has been surrendering itself to Trump pressure for a very long time. And now you're asking this question, now ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಇರಾನ್ಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? You know, just 2 days before the war, Modi has gone to Israel. And Modi received some kind of an award from Israel, which according to an Israeli newspaper, no such award existed in Israeli history. They created an award to give it to Modi, and they gave him the award. And he comes back to India. What foreign policy objective did he achieve? Nobody knows. But within 2 days, the war started. So when the war started, where was India standing? India was in the camp of Israel and America. So this is the perception of the entire Arab world in Iran. So Arab world, nobody in the Arab world likes Israel. You must remember that. And if you're a friend of Israel, you are not a friend of Iran or Arab world. And especially the Arab streets. The Arab states hate you. The Arab states hate their own governments because of their not supporting the Iran war. Iran is the only country which is supporting Sunni Muslim fighting Israelis. No Sunni country is supporting. So it is in this kind of a situation we are putting ourselves on the side of Trump and Netanyahu. So what kind of image you are sending? Yeah,
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಒಂದು ಸಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಈಗ ಚೈನೀಸ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ರೂಬಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅವರು ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗ ಅಂತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಇರಾನ್. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಚೈನಾ ಅಂಡ್ ರಷ್ಯಾ?
It will work very well for China and Russia, because China and Russia will
ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
yeah, you see, remember one thing. Even if the Iranian military power is destroyed, Iran remains an enormous energy power.
Correct.
Okay? Its oil wells cannot be completely destroyed. Its oil wells will burn for a few months. They did the same thing in Iraq. Iraq, Saddam Hussein time, his oil wells were attacked, and the oil wells burned for so many months. Finally, Iraqi oil is back, but it is back in the hands of American company. So that will not happen in Iran. No American company will go and buy the Iranian oil wells as they did in Iraq, or as they are doing in Venezuela. So China and Russia's investment will be preferred in the energy sector of Iran. So they will
But
gain
why
enormous.
why is not India preserving its investment in Iran, in the harbor, in
Our investment of $125 million went up in smoke last year.
Trump sent it up in smoke, and we are still supporting Trump.
Oh, we have no choice. I mean, we have surrendered our sovereignty to Trump. What can India do? I mean,
Thank you, sir. It was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
ಸರ್
ನಂದು 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು, 2 ದಿನದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಐ ಫೌಂಡ್ ದಟ್ 40 countries ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೆನಡಾ, ಅವರ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಪೋಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟ್ರಂಪ್. ಅದೊಂದು, ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪೀಸ್, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು, ಈ ಪೆಟ್ರೋ ಡಾಲರ್, ಯೂರೋ ಡಾಲರ್, ಇದು ಪೆಟ್ರೋ ಡಾಲರು, ಡಾಲರ್ ಆಫ್ USA ಡಾಲರು, ಪೆಟ್ರೋ ಡಾಲರು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಂತಪ್ಪ, ಯಾವ್ದೊಂದು ಡಾಲರು, ಇದೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದಿಸ್, ಇನ್ನು ಕೆನೇಡಿಯನ್ ಡಾಲರು. ಈ ಡಾಲರ್ಗಳೇನು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಈಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಚೈನೀಸು, ದೇ ಆಲ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿ, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಡಾಲರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ತರದ ಡಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ USA ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಹೌದೌದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಡಾಲರ್ ಆಗಲೇ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ವೀಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಈಗ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ refusal. First Saddam Hussein refused to trade in dollars, then Iran refused to trade in dollars. So so many currencies. In fact, the BRICS countries have already thought of a BRICS currency. BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries have already, for the last 2 years, have been talking of trading within their own currencies. That will end the domination of dollars. And India-Europe trade agreement, which was signed about 2 months ago, which is called as the mother of all trade agreement, that will be ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ dollars use ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. So American dollar has already become very weak, and this is adding to Trump problems. And Trump does not want the dollar to come weak. And the Canadian Prime Minister's efforts are going on. I know right from the time he made that speech in Davos, where he said that the middle power should rise against the domination and the hegemony of the American superpower, or the 2 or 3 superpowers. So many countries have joined hands with Canada, and what they will end up doing is they will try to trade in a currency other than American dollar. That itself is a very significant step. Rather, American economic hegemony will end. So let us wait and see how it will happen.
ವಿಜೇಂದ್ರ, ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಸರ್ ಒಂದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸರ್. ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದೇನು ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ವಾರ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಏನು ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ವೆಪನ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇರಾನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಆದ್ರೆ ವಾರ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಏನೋ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೀಳ್ಸೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಮೋದಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೀಳ್ಸೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ನಿಜನಾ ಅಂತ?
I can't accept that. ಅದು
ಇಲ್ಲ
ಮೋದಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮೋದಿ
ಅದೇ
ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೀಳ್ಸೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟು
ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಸಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್, ಅದು ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಟ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ನಟನ್ಯಾಹು ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಂಪ್ಸ್ ambiguous answer to take over the Cork Island and stuff like that.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು that will be the end of Trump government.
That's what I want.
He will not put boots on the ground. If American troops are sent, they will die in large numbers. And we must remember one thing: the Iranians are willing to die. The Americans are not willing to die.
Not willing to. Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they are very
It will be a huge mistake on the part of Trump to send land troops at the end of his term.
And Americans are not willing to die for Israel. They know that
Yeah,
why
yeah.
should we die for Israel?
Yeah. And Iranians, it's a country with a long civilization, and people will revolt against an external army coming in as a land army. There will be a huge chaos in the Iranian region as well as in America.
It will be a mega.
Questions are being
Sir,
Hello.
can we ask questions or the commentary will go on? I'm Jagannath here, sir. Joshi sir, I don't have any question. I wanted to thank you for a good presentation. And one point you missed, sir, I want to mention it. See, as a solar power generating farmer today, at the age of 69, I am looking at the self-reliance and energy sector. I'm having kitchen biogas plant for 18 years. And only last year I put the PM Solar Grow, sold 30,000 worth solar energy to Chescom. What I want to request all our forum members and everybody to get into some self-reliance lifestyle. This talking on dollars and contemplation and commentaries may not help in the long term. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Well taken, sir. Thank you.
Rupa ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿ.
Rupa.
Rupa has raised it.
So, ನನ್ನ ಸ್ವರ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 2 questions. ಒಂದಾದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಅಮೇರಿಕಾ is selling weapons to some of the countries like United Arab Emirates and Qatar, etc. ಹೌದು, ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗೋಧಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೋದಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ನೌ negotiate and stop the war. It is on Modi and some like-minded people to stop the war. ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸತ್ಯ?
Okay, ನಿಮ್ಮ first point, America has been selling arms to every country in the world. Whoever wants to buy weapons, they will sell. That is America's main business. So that will go on. In fact, for 3 years continuously,
Voice is very low, sir.
Saudi Arabia bought the largest number of arms from America for 3 years continuously between 2018 to 2020. So America loves any country that buy its arms. Now, regarding Modi becoming a negotiator, I don't see the possibility, because he will be seen only as a mediator on behalf of Trump and Netanyahu. So he will not have any independent standing in Tehran.
Today, even Barkha Dutt was saying, my God, he is in continuous contact with everyone to stop the war.
He's only talking to UAE Sultan, and maybe to even I have not seen any phone call between him and Mohammed bin Salman. UAE is a country which has been playing a double game. It is supporting Israel. It is, and it will play a game that America and Israel want. And Modi is only in touch with UAE leader. So other than that, justice. And Barkha Dutt is speaking to us from UAE, from Dubai. And if you are in Dubai, you'll think that Dubai is the center of the world. But nobody cares for UAE in the region.
ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಮುಗಿದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಣಿ ವಿಲ್
Thank you,
I
sir.
think 8:30 ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು.
8:30 ಆಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇವತ್ತು ಚರ್ಚೆಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸಮಯ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತನೋ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸೋ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೋ ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್. ಇನ್ನೂ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ವಾರ ನಾವು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಮಿಲಿಟರಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್.
ನಾನೊಂದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ಲಾ?
ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ.
ಒಂದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಸರ್. ಈಸ್ ಇಸ್ರೇಲ್ ಟ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರೋಪ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ and instigate the Arab world to go offensive against Iran by bombing the gas fields of Iran, which has triggered Iran to retaliate?
Israel has only one objective: to destroy Iran. Okay, whereas America's objective is different. America's objective is to retain the oil and gas resources of Iran and take control of that. So whether Israel, whether it instigates Europe or Arab countries, that doesn't matter. The point is, Israeli objective goes against the American objective. ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ this war will end much sooner than Netanyahu wants.
Hopefully.
Okay, sir. Okay, we will end this session today.
One thing to say, this was a very, very nice presentation by Ravi Joshi, sir. And I have one appeal to our Vishwaguru. War rukwado, papa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mansoorji. So now ಈಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 8:35 ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸೆಷನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ನಾವು ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಆನ್ ಬಿಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೈಡೆ ಫೋರಮ್, ಐ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ Ravi Joshi sir for giving an excellent presentation of the matter, and I hope we have to engage him once again to discuss further matters in the future days to come, after observing how far the war will go ahead. So with this, we will end up the session today, and I thank all the members for participating in it. Thank you, Joshi sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night to all.
Bye.
Good night.